You know, I used to think there's something wrong with the Japanese people. I used to think there's something wrong. Why? You see pictures or clips of Japanese people, for example, picking up leaves of moss in the park. And they just completely immersed with this. And the cleanness of some houses, or houses, I haven't seen every Japanese house, and I'm sure there are some messy houses. But there's something about it, that it's so perfect. And it seems like everything that they do is that attention to detail is, it seems to me like the attention to detail is greater than the actual act itself. That's what it seems to me. And at the beginning I thought they were weird. I said, what's a bunch of OCD people there? It's like, they're crazy. Why do you have to be so, everything has to be so straight, and the flows and the it's nice, but so to live like this, yeah. Sometimes it gets a little bit out of hand. But then I learned, and I realized that instead of not understanding or making fun, I should really envy them. And I'll tell you what, OCD is not what I call mindfulness. What the Japanese are doing when you see a person picking up leaves from the moss in the garden and put it, and the lines of the rock garden are so perfect, and the guy sweeps the floor sweeping the floor, for crying out loud, with such a mindfulness. It looks like he's not sweeping the floor. He's doing it from within, meditating. And I used to think it's OCD, but that's not OCD. OCD is a repeated, for example, if a person does something, he's obsessive with that particular thing for no reason. There's no purpose for that. So, for example, if I go and, let's say I have OCD, we check in the door, right? Open the door, close the door. Open the door, close the door. It's useless action. Or if I touch you in this ear, you have to touch the other ear. I touch you here, you have to touch me here. It's kind of pointless, repeated motions, right? Or actions that are obsessive. They overwhelm you. So you are being overwhelmed by the action rather than mindfulness. You are overwhelming the action. You are the one who's doing that. And I said, okay, that's very nice, but is there something I can learn from it for myself as a Jew? I'm not looking to become Japanese. I'm not Japanese, I'm not Chinese. I'm not Native American, I'm a Jew. But is there anything I could learn from that for myself, in terms of my avodah, in terms of my avodat Hashem? And recently I realized that yes, there is. Yes, there is. And I think Judaism, believe it or not, gives us all the opportunities to create that mindfulness, but because, and mainly because, we are not taught, or we say words that we don't really know what they mean. For example, the word that I'm talking about is called kavanah. What does it mean, kavanah? Or daven with kavana. What does it mean for me to daven with kavana? What does it mean? I should take a teles lekaven is to aim. So what am I supposed to do? Take a sniper's scope and daven like this? Baruch atah. That's what it means to kaven. Maze lekaven. You should aim for the words and so on and so on. What do I aim for the words? Do I really know what God is? How can I be chaven to God? Takif, He's strong, melech. What does it mean to me? And if somebody tells you He does, I tell you what I know He does. He doesn't know what He's saying. What does it mean to me? Why is it that I'm failing in Judaism when Judaism gives me all the tools and I'm still failing? What does that mean? Give me a couple. A cup, not a whole army of cups. Okay, cup. Empty cup. Now, I'm going to tell you the following. Everybody knows the Chenayo, the Japanese tea ceremony, when everything is accounted for, and the guy gives you the cup, and you have to turn it 3 times like this, and you bring it up in a certain way, and before you turn it down, there's all this like unnecessary ritual. Why am I squeezing a lemon there? But that's not the point. You're missing the point. When I make a kiddush, right, I'm making kavana. That's kavana. Like making this face, that's kavana. No. Kavana is to be mindful. Is to be able to concentrate on the task that I'm doing now, that is ahead of me, when nothing else matters. That's first of all. In other words, well, you wait and see. When you're going to have kids, Bezrat Hashem, you're going to have kids, I guarantee you. Unless your kids are going to be like, one of those, how should I say, goody kids, or you run your house like a tyrant. But usually your kids, it's a miracle. As soon as you're going to start making kiddush, Yom HaShishim, your kid's going to start walking around. There's things like this. There's looks there. Hey, stop it! It's like this. So you think that the kids really bother you. The kids don't bother you. The kids are kids. Kids are kids. And if you're going to say, Yom HaShishim, no, what you're going to be doing is teaching your kids exactly the opposite of what you should be teaching them. For example, if you make kiddush, your kids are going like this. Right now you're making a kiddush. What does it really mean, to look at the cup, to look at this shtuyot? The secret to look at the cup is to be able to create a focal point when you hold it in your hands, an object of contemplation. If you know anything about meditation, including Jewish meditation, it's an object of contemplating. You are right now performing a short meditation. Those meditation, when you concentrate on one particular thing, by forgetting everything else, you're giving your brain, and I'm talking, okay, you're telling me New Age. No, I'm not talking you New Age. You're giving your brain a moment of relaxation. So right now I'm making that, and I'm just concentrating on the fact that it's Yom HaShishi, and I'm making Kiddush, and so on and so forth. And you'll see that slowly you'll do so. All of a sudden you're going to realize, my kids don't move anymore. And the reason is because you were mindful of that. That silence overwhelmed the noise that is outside and kind of put it to the side until you reduce it completely. When I pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And somebody next to me, there's some people who daven out loud and it sounds like you are there, I don't know, like, you always go like this, right? And it's a noise, or somebody's sneezing, or somebody's telling, right? You don't have kavanah. You right away have no kavanah. Or let's say somebody, whatever is next to you. You need to learn to focus your thoughts on the task that you're doing. And right now you're talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You need to create a moment of serenity, of quiet inside of you, that you are only saying the words. You're just saying the words. When you're able to say your words like that, the words will come out, they will regulate themselves with your breathing. And then your tefillah will come, and then will be an experience. And then all of a sudden you're going to find yourself davening Shmona Esrei for 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Not because you made it deliberately slow to be the last one in shul. That's not called prayer. That's called praying to yourself. You just didn't want it to end. And that's the same thing if you're sitting with your beloved one, you're sitting with your wife, and you're sitting down and you're watching, sunset over the horizon in Miami or something, right? You don't need to have noise and putting me and Mrs. Jones in the background. Just the silence of appreciating the person who is next to you right now, the right now. When I'm not worried about what happened to me before, and I'm not worried about what will happen to me in the future, and right now I'm experiencing that through mindfulness. All my mind is hovering around that task that I'm at. That's why I'm able to perfect my actions. And it's the same thing. You go to the gym or you go to the dojo, right? Oh, what time is it? Oh, well, soon. Okay, we almost finished. The time should not be affected for you when you're doing things like that. Different than OCD. OCD is useless. You're doing it over and over again. It's idle for no reason. Mindfulness is taking all your abilities and putting it together at the task by simply, not because you're aware of what is happening around you. You're absolutely aware, but you don't let it affect you. And then you find refuge in your prayer. And then your prayer is elevated by itself to higher levels. By itself, because the purity of that, there's no destruction around. There's absolutely nothing around. You would removed from this world, and then you were able to achieve what Maran Bet Yosef writes in Malachot Tfilah, Hitpashtuta Gashmiyut, the meltdown of reality. Everything around you, it's all of a sudden you are in a different realm. You are meditating. And the reason why we as Jews are always like on the edge is because we became fearful. Yes, out of survival thing, we're always fearful. So we did not able to create ourselves the moments of quiet and tranquility, this island with the lagoon around it, with this coral lagoon around it to save it and to protect it from the waves that are coming from the ocean. But we need that, and that's why Torah gives us all the tools. And we have those moments. Every time I'm about to make a bracha, do I really understand what does it mean? Baruch Ata Hashem Borei Pri Ha'etz. Do I understand what does it mean to create a tree? I don't understand what it means to create a tree. I'm a creation myself. I cannot understand that. But I can take this moment before I'm eating and make my own ceremony. Borei Pri Ha'etz. Right now I'm coming, and then I put it in my mouth, and I feel the sweetness of the fruit, and I let the sweet. Were you ever hot on a hot day? Remember, it's like a hot day. You're really thirsty, and you're taking a cold water, just water, fresh water, and you drink it. You make a bracha, you drink it, and you feel the water gacha oozing inside of you. You feel this cold, and that's great. That's what I'm talking about. That's mindfulness. When everything around you is quiet and you let the voices from within to come, then you become more spiritual. Then you become more aware. Then you could perform your actions. Everything becomes an art. That's why the Japanese are so much better than most of the people around. Of course, they sometimes went overboard, but that's exactly what it is. That mindfulness, that ability to pay full attention to the now, to what am I doing now. Because if you're about to perform a job and you're thinking about leaving, your job will stink. Right now I'm here, I'm at work, and right here I'm working. I came to work, to do work. I came here to learn. So I'm here to learn, and when I'm in Yeshiva, I am not thinking about my college, I'm not thinking about my mother-in-law, I'm not thinking about anything. I am in an island, I'm in a spiritual island. Everything ahead of me is now. And right now I'm learning the Gemara, so I'm not thinking about Tosfot. Right now I'm learning the Gemara, I'm not thinking about Rashi. And when I'm learning Tosfot, I'm not thinking about the Rambam. I'm learning Tosfot. I'm learning the Rambam. One thing at a time. And then I'm actually learning. But I can't wait to leave out of here. I can't wait to turn the page. That's not mindfulness. It's mindless. So try to practice this in small tasks of your life. You don't need to have moments of, sitting on carpets and putting the incense and playing Indian music and shanti. You don't need that. Next time you make a bracha, make it with all your attention. That's it. Shakol niya bidvaro. That's it. And then it doesn't end there. And then you put it in your mouth. And then you say, it's a miracle. Ribono Shel Olam, thank you. And you feel spiritually elevated. Because now you connected heaven and earth. And that's to everything you do. To care. To care about what you do. When somebody asks you, can you do me a favor? Can you clear the table? Clear the table means Make it good. Clear it all up. Arrange, put the things in the right place. Put the chairs around the right way. Make it pleasant. When you come in and everything is a big mess, I cleared the table and just cleared everything to the floor. Or somebody asks you, can you just straighten up the kitchen? That means cleaning the counter, sweeping the floor, and because you care, you are mindful in that. And you don't understand, you don't need to go to an ashram somewhere in the Himalayas over there, starve yourself for 40 days, freeze your tuchas to death over there, and to become enlightened. You can find enlightenment in the small things in life. How? Mindfulness in your actions. Put all your mind into what is it that you're doing now, because what important is now. And I can tell you this, if you're going to put your mind now, all your attention to what is the test that you're doing now, without worrying about, without jumping around, not only you can change your future, you can actually change your past as well. Shabbat Shalom.